Hello, it's Tess here. So this is just going to be a short video about boundaries. And this is coming up for me. I'm trying to put my notebook down. Why didn't I put it down first? I don't know. So this is coming up for me because I was just reminded of, well, I'm reminded every single day how important boundaries are and what they mean to me now, what I believe about them. And a couple of weeks ago, I'm going to tell this story. A few weeks ago, I was telling a friend that, I wanted to do some parenting course to help me gain confidence in the boundaries that I was making around my children, because I could really see that my children, and for those of you who don't know, I have 4-year-old twin boys. So I could really see that my children had leveled up in a way that I hadn't met them yet. Okay. I hadn't met them on their level. So they were really pushing me a lot. And this woman, really well-meaningly and really kindly actually, said to me, well, I know I haven't spent much time around you, but for what it's worth, I thought you made really clear and great boundaries. Like, you were really firm when you needed to be, and you were really loving and sweet the rest of the time. And I said, thank you. That's kind of you to say so, but it's irrelevant because that's what you're seeing, and it's not what my children are seeing. So I explained to her that small children, and really all of us, but small children are like horses. If I'm going on a trail ride with a horse and I want to check out the left path, but the other day I saw a cougar on the left path. I live in the mountains. So the other day I saw a cougar on the left path, and I'm kind of scared about it. But I'm like, okay, that's okay, because I'm on this big beast and I feel really confident, and the big beast is going to lead me if, we run into trouble. So I'm telling the horse with my hands to go left. I'm telling the horse with my legs to go left. I'm squaring my shoulders to the left. I'm looking to, I'm doing all the things, right, with my body to tell this horse to go left. This horse isn't reading that. They don't care what I'm saying with my external, with my limbs. This horse is reading inside my body that I'm scared to go that way. I'm not sure. There's a lack of clarity. That horse is never going to go left, ever, in a million years. Okay, unless perhaps it's a war horse like a Percheron. But anyway, tangent. So basically I said, it doesn't matter if the words coming out of my mouth are clear and firm, because these children are going to read what's going on inside me. So if inside me I'm kind of wondering if my boundary is too firm, like, should I just be giving them this time? Am I harming them forever? I'm feeling guilt. Maybe I'm feeling shame. I might even be feeling shame that I even have to take this time from them, and that I don't have a village to fill in when I'm not there. All sorts of things could be going on inside my body that my children are reading. It's not going to be their fault at all if, like the horse, they say, nah, not going to happen. Because if they're reading my fear, why would they do the thing that makes their mother afraid? That's nonsensical. Okay, it's to the betterment of our evolution and their fitness, their biological ability to have children in the future, right? Which isn't a conscious thought, but it's for the evolution of, humankind, if they do what I'm really clear on. So if I'm afraid inside my body, then they're afraid to follow my order. That's not the right word, but you know what I mean? They're not going to meet that boundary. If they sense fear from me, then it's going to make them afraid too. And all people are like this. It's just that it's really difficult for us. I mean, sometimes by the time we come to adulthood, we've been taught to ignore our intuition about what other people's bodies are saying, even though we really do know a lot of this. Or, we tell ourselves all the time that, like, we can't really know. There are so many reasons why we might listen to somebody's words over their body. But I know that you've all been in a position where somebody's body language is speaking louder than their words, right? Like, if you've ever heard somebody say, I'm not angry, when clearly they are, when our body language is speaking louder than our words, which in the case of, like, making boundaries with children, it always is. So just to give some tips on making boundaries. Of course, this takes a lot of practice. It's not an overnight thing. It took me a long time. I'm looking at, like, the date on my computer to try to figure out how long it took me to figure out, I would say I was practicing boundaries for a good 4 months before I had to make a really big, scary one. And even still, I've been practicing my boundaries, more or less on a daily basis for whatever, 11 months. But here are some tips to start and getting going on having firm boundaries. So number one, listen to your body. Okay. So my understanding of my body now is really different than it was a year ago. And these days I am listening to my body as if I'm getting messages from God through my body. My body is my connection to the universe. Okay. So for me, if I feel uncomfortable in a situation with somebody, that's the universe saying, get out of here. Right. Or if I feel uncomfortable, going to do a piece of work, something is not feeling right, and I'm feeling like I have to force it, like I have to do this, something ain't right. And I really can step away from that until I figure out what's going on. So to me, listening to my body. Number two, get clarity. Get clarity on what it is that you need before you even go and start making boundaries with people. Get clarity. For me, this usually entails, because I'm really a verbal processor, as are a lot of women, because it's how we evolved. So for me, this often entails talking it out to friends or writing it down in a journal, even sending myself an email. But for me, getting clarity also has to include, in the sort of greater bubble, getting clarity on the feelings that are coming up for me and what belongs to me and what belongs to somebody else. So if I'm making a boundary based on my feelings and asking somebody else to, can you not use that word around me because I have an issue with it, then for me, in my life, I believe it's actually better if I deal with those issues. However, if it's an abusive kind of language, then it's totally fine for me always to say, I don't deserve to be talked to like that, and walk away. So carrying on, number three, ground yourself first. So especially if it's going to be a difficult boundary. There are lots of times that I make boundaries with my kids, like on the fly, and I haven't sat there and grounded myself first. But it's really not uncommon for me to ground myself when I realize my kids are going to push back, right? So if I go, you know what, I just need some mama time. And in that moment, I actually find the clarity in my body that I need mama time, or else I'm going to be taking it out on them. And I'm going to be I'm going to turn into a yelling mom or a naggy mom, or I'm going to be passive aggressive, or I'm going to blame my kids for me not making a boundary, or I'm going to make my children the thief of my health and my happiness, right? If I get that clarity in my body, and my kids are pushing back, I might just sit there and close my eyes and ground myself in the moment. And I really have found it powerful for me to ground myself with the strength of Mother Earth and the foresight of the universe. So that's my thing that has helped me in the moments that my boundaries were the most difficult to hold, when actually somebody was being physically violent towards me and everything in my ego was saying, just back down, just back down, just back down, just back down so that you don't get killed right now. Even in that moment, I was able to hold my boundary because I knew, having been given the strength of Mother Earth and the foresight of the universe, or however you want to call it, but that's really what it felt like and that's what it looked like. I knew that what I was doing was for the better of me and our children and for this person. So yeah, ground yourself, even if it's in the middle. The next thing is, if you can find a way to hold space for the person across from you who might be hearing a difficult boundary and not know how to take it, or might, be in their own pain. So I would, draw a line at things being abusive, because it's always, always, always okay to say, I don't deserve to be talked like this. I totally get that you're in pain. I get that you're sad. I get that you're angry. I imagine that you're feeling afraid right now, but I don't deserve to be talked to like this. It's okay to walk away. The most power that we have over ourselves is to remove our body from a situation, because it's not putting any control over another person. It's only controlling what we can control, our own bodies, right? So when I say holding space, for example, with my children, that might look like just repeating and just observing what I see, right? So I see that, you have tears, and I hear that you're really yelling, and I imagine that you're angry right now. I imagine that you're really sad because you want mama to come with you. and just holding that space. You can repeat those lines over and over and over again. I see tears. I know you're sad. I know. I get it. I know. Just seriously over and over again. With children, that works really well. And it works amazingly well with adults too, maybe in a slightly different voice or maybe with different words, or even just to say it one time and then just be quiet and let them have their process and let them have their feelings. Those feelings are literally how we adapt to futility. Right? So when we don't have control over a situation, humans don't take that very well. And how we adapt to that is we cry, or we let feelings move through our body. We get angry, we cry, we feel things. And once those feelings move through, our neurons literally change shape and our hormones balance. So we're actually, by having big emotions, we are actually adapting to the situation around us. So for me, it is so important to let my children have those emotions and to know that there's nothing wrong with them, that they're really magical. It's one of the superpowers of humankind. So just to go over that again, my list for how to get clear and make better boundaries is listen to your body. Get clarity, including by letting out your own big emotions with friends or with other people who are not the person you're going to be making boundaries with. Number three was number three? Yes, I think so. Ground yourself, right? Even if it's in the moment, you can still do it. And then hold space, learn how to hold space for other people because they might have stuff come out. It's nothing to do with you. It's nothing to do with your boundaries. Your boundaries are just a necessary thing that you need to do to honor your body. And that's okay. It's always okay just to hold space for other people by letting them have their emotions so that they can adapt to the new situation. So that's my tip for how to begin making better boundaries. And I hope this was helpful. If it was, remember to hit like or follow me on Facebook or hit subscribe if you are on YouTube. And I'll see you in the next video.